Okay, we're going to start this section on solving financial problems involving percent. We have two types of interest. We have simple interest and compound interest. We're going to look at simple interest first. These types of problems usually say simple interest in the problem. However, as long as it doesn't say compound interest, you will use the simple interest formula, which is I equals PRT. I represents interest. P represents principal, which is the money. R is the rate converted to a decimal. T is time in years. Sometimes we have to deal with that. They might give you time in the problem in months that you have to convert to years. And then A equals P plus I represents accumulated amount. That's the principal plus interest. Okay, let's look at some examples. Jane invested $8,750 for 5 years at an annual simple interest rate of 8%. So simple interest, I equals PRT. P is the 8,750. R is the 8%, which is 0.08, and T is 5. So interest equals 8,750 times 0.08 times 5. Interest is $3,500. Now what they asked me to find was Jane's balance. Well, the balance is principal plus interest. $8,750 plus $3,500. Her balance is $12,250. Okay, number 2. Solve the simple interest problem for A equals 13,490, T equals 7 years, and I equals 3,990. We want P and R. I'll just do it on this page, even though the bottom of it appears on the next page. So simple interest, I equals PRT. I know that I is 3,990. I know that time is 7. So if I divide both sides by 7, I get $570 equals PR. And now I'm kind of stuck because I don't know what P or R is. So I know this A. Well, I know that, let me do this in a different color, A equals P plus I. Well, if 13,490 equals principal plus 3,990, I can find principal by subtracting. Principal is 9,500. And now I can put that number in there. Let's do this in black. 570 equals 9,500 R. Divide both sides by 9,500. R equals 0.06, which is 6%. Okay, next example. Solve the simple interest problem for P equals 5,000, T equals 35 weeks, I equals 210. I want to find R and A. Simple interest, I equals PRT. I is 210. P is 5,000. R I don't know. And T is in weeks. So here you need to convert this to years. Well, it's 35 out of 52 weeks. So I can simplify that on my calculator. 5,000 times 35 over 52. So I have 210 equals 3,365.38465, and it keeps going because that was the end of my calculator. Do not round this. Divide both sides by that number. And you can do that without rounding by just entering 210 divided by, and there should be an answer button on your calculator, and it will enter this entire number, and I get 0.0624 is R. Okay. Changing that to a percent is multiplying it by 100, which means move the decimal 2 places. So R is 6.24%. Amount is simply principal plus interest, so amount is 5,210. Okay. Compound interest. These types of problems must say compound somewhere in the problem. Okay. These types of problems also use a formula, but it's a little more complicated than simple interest. Here is the compound interest formula. A equals P parentheses 1 plus R over N parentheses to the NT power. We already know that P is principal, R is interest rate converted to a decimal, T is time in years, A is the accumulated amount. Here's the new part. N is the number of compounding periods in a year. You're going to be told the compounding period, but you need to know what that means. If it's compounded monthly, that's 12 times a year. Compounded weekly, 52 times a year. Compounded quarterly, 4 times a year. Compounded daily, 365 times a year. We're excluding leap year. So our formula gives us amount, not interest. To find interest, you take interest equals A minus P. It's really the same formula we had before. A equals P plus I, only solved for I. So don't think of it as a separate formula, just think of it as the same formula solved for a different variable. Okay, solve each of the following compound interest problems for the indicated variables. Okay, so I know it's a compound interest. I have principal, I have rate, compounded quarterly, I have T, I want to find A and I. All right, so compounded quarterly, that means N equals 4. A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the NT power. Principal is 8,540. 1 plus R is 7%, 0.07. N is 4. My power is 4 times 3, or 12. If you don't know how to punch this in your calculator all at the same time, don't round intermediary steps. Otherwise, your A is going to be wrong. Okay? So doing this multiplication will make it easier to punch into your calculator. So you have 8,540 parentheses 1 plus 0.07 divided by 4 parentheses. Then you have a power key. And it's different on different calculators. On mine, it's a caret key. It could be x to the y or y to the x. And then you put your power, which in this case is 12. If this multiplication is harder to do than 4 times 3, make sure you put parentheses in your power. All right, so when I put that in my calculator, I get A equals $10,516.49. It was 0.491. Round your money to the nearest penny. And then I would be, I is equal to A minus P. So I have this number in my calculator. I'm going to subtract 8,540. My I is $1,976.49. Okay, next problem. Find the amount in an account after 2 years if the initial investment is $5,000 at 7% compounded monthly. Okay, so we have compounded in here. So now I know I'm going to use this formula. Two years is my time. 5,000 is my P. 7%, which is 0.07, is my R. Compounded monthly is my N. And I'm trying to find the amount, which is the accrued or accumulated. So that's A. A equals 5,000 parentheses 1 plus 0.07 over 12 to the power of 12 times 2. $5,000 times 1 plus 0.07 divided by 12, put my parentheses, to the power of 24. 5,749.03. Now, when you do this, if you don't put parentheses, let's see what you would get. If you forget to do parenthesis 12 times 2, you would get this answer. $10,722.90. Big difference between the value. Basically, if you don't have a parenthesis, it takes this to that power and then multiplies that answer by 2. So don't forget your parentheses. Or what I simply do is just do 12 times 2 is 24, and I enter my power as 24. Okay, next one. How much interest is owed on $3,000 loan for 18 months at 6.5% compounded weekly? Okay, so it has compounded. A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the NT power. A equals 3,000, 1 plus R is 0.065 over N is weekly, 52, And T is, okay, 18 months. I need to convert that to years. Well, 18 is 18 over 12, which is 1.5. Okay, let's see what we get. 3,000 times 1 plus 0.065 divided by 52, parentheses, to the power of, parentheses, see this one I'm not going to do in my head, 52 times 1.5, parentheses. A equals $3,307.03. Okay, I want interest. Well, interest is equal to A minus P. So interest is equal to $3,307.03 minus $3,000. $307.03. Okay. All right. How to calculate the equal periodic payment necessary to pay back a simple interest loan. So we're going back to simple interest loan. And we're looking at, okay, if I'm going to pay it monthly, how much do I owe each month? Or pay it weekly, how much do I owe each week? Okay. First, you need to use the simple interest formula to find the interest. Then you add the interest and the principal to find the total amount owed. Then I'm going to divide the total amount owed by the number of periods of the loan. Okay, usually we need to calculate the total number of periods. All right, so let's see how this works. Solve each of the following equal periodic payments to pay back a simple interest loan for the indicated payment period. So I equals PRT. I equals 8,000 times 0.08 times 4. So I equals $2,560. Now I need to add that to my principal because I don't just owe $2,560. I owe $10,560. Now, quarterly payments. A quarterly payment is 4 times a year for 4 years. Well, 4 times 4 is 16. I have 16 payments. So I am going to take 10,560, divide it by 16, and that will give me my number or my amount per payment. Each payment is $660. Okay, next example. My principal is $18,500. My rate is 7%. Time is 3 years. Monthly payment. Okay, monthly payment. 12 times a year for 3 years. So that's going to be 36 payments. So I'm going to divide by 36 once I get my total amount. Interest is equal to 18,500 times 0.07 times 3. $18,500 times 0.07 times 3 gives me $3,885. So my total amount that I'm going to owe is $22,385. divide that by the 36 payments. I get $621.81. On my calculator, I have 621.80555 ... The nearest penny is the hundredths, so that rounds up to 81 cents. Okay, last problem. I want to know the weekly payment amount. So weekly payment is 52 weeks. Now 6 months. 6 months is half a year. So 52 weeks times 1/2 is 26 payments. All right, so interest equals 2,600 times 0.065 times 1/2, which is 0.5. $84.50. So A is equal to 2,600 plus 84.50. $2,684.50, which will be divided by 26 payments. And I get $103.25 per payment. Okay, and this is where we will stop this video.